Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show. On this episode of Which is Better, we're going to take a look at two versions of the same Autobot known as Beachcomber. One released during the Titans Return toy line, and one released very recently during the Legacy Evolution toy line. Let's check it out and see if we can figure out which one's better.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
Alright, we're no strangers to how it works on Which is Better, but we are changing up a few things today, so we'll get into that. We're going to start with our first two rounds today, which is overall appearance and the transformation round. I'm doing these together because Transformers, well, transform. So we're going to be taking a look at both the robot and the vehicle mode on both of these guys, as well as the way that they transform. So with our Titans Return Beachcomber, you can see his Autobot symbols on his legs and it's split when he's in robot mode. And he has this design on his chest. Now, I tend to go with what is more animation accurate, and the animation for Beachcomber on the original cartoon show had his Autobot symbol on his chest, just like this, and I don't believe there was anything extra on his legs, so we have this silver design. I don't think the original animation design even had that, but, you know, so robot mode, it looks like Beachcomber is kind of winning that one. You know, we're going to look at their vehicle mode now. I'm going to transform both of them, and their transformations are very similar. They both have a roll cage on the back that you can kind of lift up, and then you just kind of pull their torso like that. Now, on the Titans Return Beachcomber, you can just easily slot his arms in like that. You can take his legs, and you can kind of clip everything together, including this little piece of the roll cage, and you simply flip his legs up. It'd help if I had that fully lifted there, and then you just connect the pieces like this, and boom, there is our Beachcomber in vehicle mode. Again, in vehicle mode in the show, I don't think it had the Autobot symbol on his legs like this. I think it was just like a blue dune buggy. But let's look at our Legacy Evolution one. Again, to transform, there's a roll cage in the back. You can lift that out of the way. Just like our Titans Return one, you're going to pull that through. Now, the big difference that I've noticed right away is that our Legacy Evolution one has panels on his legs, and you can fold these pieces down, these extra heel bits out of the way, and then you can open up the leg panels, which when you connect the legs, you can then fold everything onto the body. Now, these little heel panels actually make some convincing looking seats for the dune buggy mode, and there are some peg holes right here that they kind of just drop into, so you can just there you go. You can just kind of connect them down. They snap into place. And then, much like the Titans Return one, you're going to want to make sure our roll cage gets connected. So I'm going to connect that like that. Now, the only bit, flip the leg panels back in. The only bit of trouble I've had transforming this Beachcomber is that there are a couple more connection points for his arms. There's a connection point here, but then there's also this peg here that connects into the leg here, and I kind of find it, I don't know, maybe it's just my copy, but I'm having a hard time getting everything connected. You can even see that, like, I'm kind of struggling to push it all together now. So I'm just going to push it in the best I can. It might not be a perfect transformation, but I'm just going to slot it all in as best as I can right now. And oh, come on, arms. There we go. I'm just kind of push it in. There we go. All right, cool. And then the only other bit that I need for transformation is I need his gun for transformation. You can see there are two holes. Let's see if the light can hit it right. Well, there are two holes here that peg into these tabs here, and this piece also pegs into the front. This forms Beachcomber's grill for his vehicle mode. It's not the most convincing thing to me. It kind of looks like just an upside down gun because, you know, you got the handle hanging off. But once I have it fully transformed, I don't even think this is fully animation accurate, but it looks closer to the animation than I believe this one does. So because of that, my round one overall appearance is going to our Legacy Beachcomber, while our transformation is going to our Titans Return one, just because it's a lot simpler. I got it done a lot quicker. Alright, round 3 is about the articulation of these characters. How well do they move? And if I look at my Titans Return one first, well, most of his articulation is on ball joints. There's ball joints underneath both his arms. You can see his ball joint at the elbow. He has nothing at the waist. He does have ball joints at the hips, although he does have thigh rotation, which is nice. Knee rotation or knee bend as well, and because of transformation, you can get some pretty deep bends in there. And his head, I think it can just go left and right. I don't think it's on, yeah, just left and right. It's not on a ball joint. So simple articulation for a smaller class figure. I guess this would be the modern day core class type figure. So not as much articulation as on a deluxe figure. Now his head can do a little bit of up and down. It can also do left and right. He does have waist rotation, which the Titans Return one did not. No longer on ball joints for his joints here, so things are kind of pegged in. He has swivel here as well as bend. He even has wrist movement. It's very simple, but it's a little inhibited because of the way his arm works, but it is there, which is cool. Again, no longer ball joints at the legs. He has rotation. He's got bend. He's even got ankle pivot. And the nice thing with those ankle rockers is that this extra kibble for the vehicle mode is connected to it. So like this whole thing is bending. It's kind of making one solid foot as opposed to a bunch of pieces just hanging off of him. So that works for me. I will say too, not that this is articulation, but he has rubber tires where this one has plastic tires. So articulation round, if you couldn't guess, is going to go to our Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. For our fourth round, we are going to look at the accessories that each of these Beachcombers came with. And we're going to look at the Titans Return one first. And I put him back into vehicle mode because he came with no accessories. He doesn't have a blaster, nothing else. But the Titans Return line, remember, we had a bunch of like these little Titan Masters. So I have the one that came with Ramhorn. And they can sit in the Titans Return Beachcomber, which was a cool way to elevate your play pattern, to have these the Titan Masters be able to sit in the character, although I don't know how many people were just buying extra heads to sit in their vehicles. So while it is cool, this Beachcomber literally had no other accessories. So yeah, what you get in the pack, or what you're seeing right now on screen, is what you got right out of the package. That brings us to our Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. You already saw me bring it in before, but he does have a blaster. It's painted all in that gunmetal, and he can hold it. It does also form part of his vehicle mode. So yeah, that's a nice inclusion that he has the blaster. He also comes with something that I hardly consider an accessory, but it literally labels it on his box. This little green parakeet that is labeled on the box as the Paradise Parakeet. It's just a little rubber parrot on a little rubber stand that you can peg onto him like this. It sits right there on his shoulder. You can put it on either shoulder. This is a callback to the Golden Lagoon episode where Beachcomber was talking to the animals and making chirping sounds and such. So silly little parrot accessory. More stoked that he came with the blaster. So because of the fact that this one has a blaster and a silly little parrot, he wins the round for accessories. Alright, my final round on this edition of Which is Better is the price and availability round. Alright, look, they're two different size classes, so there's going to be a price difference. When the Titans Return Beachcomber came out, you could get him for about $10, and I'm happy to say that price really hasn't changed. I've seen him at conventions recently on card for about $10. I've seen him on eBay go for anywhere from $5 to $10, and quite honestly, it's something that is probably going to be readily available. I feel like people ended up sometimes having multiple of this version. For some reason, I have two. I'm not even sure why, but easy to get a hold of, especially if you want to get them loose. Our new Legacy Evolution Beachcomber just came out. I got mine from Hasbro Pulse. I haven't seen him in stores yet, but he is going to run you about $25. Now, that is a $15 price difference between the two of these, and quite honestly, you're getting a little more with this one in terms of accessories and in terms of articulation, but if you just want something that you can spend a couple bucks on, mess around with, this Beachcomber, our Titans Return one, might be the way to go for price and availability. So there we have it. It seems that the Titans Return Beachcomber just couldn't stand up to the Legacy Evolution one. I don't think either is a bad toy. I know I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Quite honestly, the old one is great if you got a little kid at home that you want to introduce to Transformers. Very simple transformation, no extra parts that can get lost. The new one is great because it stands in well with the recent kind of upscaling of those mini bots to a smaller deluxe size figure. And that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to hold on to that old one for my son. One day he'll get to play with it. New one's going to live on my shelf. So let me know what you thought about this video. Which Beachcomber do you like better? Is there one that you like better that I didn't cover? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I've been Dan. You've been pretty awesome. I'll see you later.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
Although I am changing up one of the rounds in this episode, but we are... Onyx.